you may have to give me permission to record. I'm not sure. But I want to...
we can either say we got it or we get to leave.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to record it for the people who can't make it, obviously. Oh, got it. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I've got a spare machine over here too, so I can see what I'm doing, which is good. So I can see what you're seeing when I share my screen, which I shall now do. And what you can do, I think, if you want to, is you can turn off or drag the images of yourself and others off to the side so that you can see the screen better. Okay, so here we are in News in Slow Spanish. This is the home page. And as you can see up in the right-hand corner, they know who I am. It says, Hola, Tony. And in the menu here, one thing it enables you to choose straight away is whether you want to use European or Castellano, as I call it, Spanish, or Latino Spanish. So,
oh, great.
Yeah, some of us are doing it in different ways. I focus on the Spanish of Spain, but you can do it whatever you want, the way you want. Now, down here are your 5 main options. These first 3 that say news are basically the news of the week, and News in Slow Spanish is published or updated weekly. So this is the news of the week, and obviously, 3 different levels of difficulty in terms of their speed, vocabulary, and grammar. And then over here, these courses and series is a repository of material that they've actually had for a long time, which I haven't explored very much, but I did last night by way of preparation. So we'll have a look at those as well. But I'll just pause now to see if anyone's got a question so far. So far, so good.
Will you explain how to join later, a little bit later, or?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. Remind me if I do. I'll write it down, Dottie. So how to join.
Thank you.
All right. So, let's look at News Beginner to start with. So clicking on that. Now what we're seeing here is the various releases, like 30th of March, 23rd of March. Here are the weekly episodes. And this resource goes back many years. So you can listen to news items before the world went mad. I'm not sure how far back that is, but you know what I'm talking about. There's an awful lot of resource available here. This one is the latest one that's come out, 30th of March. And underneath it here, you'll see categories like world news and politics, science, art and culture, etc. The beginner level is reasonably limited in the number of articles they do. In the intermediate and advanced, there's a bit more. But let's jump into beginner here. Well, actually, I'll go this. If I click here, it gives me all the articles. If I click over here, I can choose individual articles. So I'll pick everything by going there. And so this will give me all the articles one after the other. So just looking through here, you'll see that there's a text for each article. And anything that's in red, highlighted red, if I hover over it, it gives me a translation in English. So Europa, Europa están tratando de ajustar urgentemente, trying to adjust urgently, sus políticas in energy, quieren castigar, they want to punish Russia, sin dañar, without hurting, blah, blah, blah. So those, sometimes it's the things that I would love to be translated. Sometimes it's not. There are other things like sus políticas energéticas, but I'm assuming that actually means policies. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. As you can see, at this beginner level, there's an awful lot that's highlighted. Oh, look, agua caliente, which of course we want to know, not agua frio. Yeah, okay, little joke back there. So that's the script. And then if I play from the beginning here, click, hopefully you'll hear this. Can you give me a nod if you're hearing it, the music? You're not hearing, okay. Let me just check that. Settings. Here we go.
There, yes.
Okay.
Es miércoles 30 de marzo de 2022. Bienvenidos a un nuevo episodio de nuestro programa semanal News in Slow Spanish para principiantes.
Or if you like, news in glacial Spanish. It's pretty slow. But over here, but that may work out for you. That may just be fine. Over here, so this is the slowest it would go because it's beginner level. The others are faster. Over here, you can increase the speed if you wish to.
Soy Gonzalo.
So 1.5.
Comenzamos el programa. Hablaremos sobre una nueva idea que surgió de la cumbre de la OTAN la semana pasada.
There we go. So that's beginner level. I'll pause to see if you've got any questions in regard to that. Now, the highlighted material here is being offered as a flashcard, as a flashcard resource as well. So if I click that, now CSV, that's comma separated values. If you want to import into your own flashcard system, that's really handy for that. Like Anki uses that, or you can get it as a PDF that you can print. So I'll just do that. And as you can see here are the.
Wow.
El jueves pasado, last Thursday. Como saben, as you know, okay, so kind of handy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I shall just go back to where we were. Bonk. All right, and PDF just means you can read this as a PDF and so print it out if you wish to. So I'll go to the intermediate level now, which is where I generally start. And then we have a quick look at advanced as well. You just get a feel for the difference. Now, in intermediate, the item is read first, and then two of the journalists have a chat about it. So what I like about that is you get slightly more formal Spanish from the news reading, the way it's read, it's like slightly more formal, but then you get a dialogue afterwards. And so you get everyday phrases, idioms, things like that. And it's opinions, you know, they give their opinion. And so you hear people expressing what they think. All right, so here's their introduction again. A little bit of music. Just jump the music by pressing 5 seconds forward.
Es jueves 31 de marzo de 2022. Bienvenidos a un nuevo episodio de nuestro programa intermedio semanal.
Okay, so again, it's not super fast, but once you hit 1.5 with this one, I'll just go forward a little bit. So I'm scrolling into the sound a bit, and then I'll hit 1.5.
A Ucrania. Estados Unidos ha enviado miles de millones de dólares en misiles, munición y otros aprovisionamientos al frente. La Unión Europea aprobó un paquete de ayuda en armamento para Ucrania por valor de 500 millones de euros. Finlandia.
Okay, so that gives you a feel. So, it's up to date as can be any news item that comes, or any, magazine, if you like, that's published weekly. So you won't use it for, absolutely knowing up to date what's going on, but you do, you can use it to be able to use words of the moment. I learned all my knowledge of COVID, all my words like pandemia, brote, vacuna, confinamiento. All those words came from News in Slow Spanish for me. So I'll scroll forward to see if I can find some of the dialogue here. So you've got the ability to go back 5 seconds and to go forward 5 seconds. So if you're listening and you miss something, I'll just demonstrate that.
Hacer retroceder al ejército ruso.
Con el debido respeto.
Al ejército ruso.
Con el debido respeto a la valentía.
Ruso.
Con el debido respeto a la valentía y perseverancia del presidente Zelensky, probablemente esté pidiendo deliberadamente más de lo que espera obtener. Ha resultado ser un político astuto. La zona de exclusión.
Okie dokie. So that's, they're talking to each other here. So sometimes long sentences, but, sometimes shorter ones as well. Yeah, is there anything else for me to say about those? So there's a fair few items here. There's that. There's the death of Madeleine Albright. So in the science area, something about brain implants. The slap, bofetada. Now you know how to say slap in Spanish. Gosh, something about protests, truck drivers. Look, there's quite a lot here, isn't there?
Yeah.
In fact, I find I can't, study, more than 2 or 3 in terms of, making the most of them, because I'm studying quite closely each one. Now I'll go back to advanced, but any questions about anything else so far? Okay, and here's advanced. So I'll just show you what happens if you go to, I'll take it from the top. Only one person, and it's pretty much a opinion piece when it's the advanced one. It's this guy, Gonzalo in this case, sometimes it's Mercedes, sometimes it's Guillermo, just giving his own opinion about what's going on. And it's leftish. Just jumped forward in the music there.
Hola a todos, queridos oyentes. Mi nombre es Gonzalo y os doy la bienvenida a un nuevo episodio de nuestro programa informativo semanal. Hoy es miércoles 30 de marzo de 2022 y comenzaremos analizando las consecuencias de la huelga del transporte convocada en España como...
Okay, so that's that's a reasonable pace. Not super fast, but it's so when it's called News in Slow Spanish, it's a bit of a misnomer because you can get it at that rate. By the way, what we hear at the beginning is an introduction to the items that you're going to hear following, which is obviously quite useful. If I put this at 1.5,
protesta por el encarecimiento del gasoil, una situación que está ralentizando seriamente la economía del país. Más adelante comentaremos la polémica postura adoptada por el gobierno español sobre el histórico conflicto del Sáhara Occidental.
Okay, so that's a good old clip. No discussion in the advanced one, but phraseology, longer sentences, higher speed, a bit more depth in the material. Sometimes it's covering the same items, but put in a different way. So those are the three, that's the core of what News in Slow Spanish does in terms of current material. Weekly updates of items of interest, and in particular, in the Spanish version, things that are going on in Spain as well. So you'll get information about political parties or situations with fiestas in particular parts of Spain. I'm assuming I do that when I'm assuming with the Latino one, you'll get South American material. So that's the news part of it. I'll show you now the courses, what courses they have. Now, this first one here, Get Up to Speed, it's a little bit cheesy, but if you want to do back to basics, it's quite useful stuff. Nouns and articles and ser and estar, etc. And it does have a way with which you can record, you can create your own course, as it were, and keep an eye on what you're doing. The imperfect. Let's open this and have a quick listen. Now, what you've got up here is a lesson about grammar. If I click that, okay, this is the conversation, the script of this conversation. Then there's actual kind of educational, a pedagogical side. You're being taught about the imperfect in this case. Got that right? Yeah, imperfect. A little bit. Then a story that uses the imperfect. And then also, I'm not sure if this is you have to pay a little extra for this or not. No, I'm paying the standard rate. You can actually record yourself. You can say the sentence, era una hermosa mañana en junio, and you can record yourself, and it judges how well you're doing that. And that's just the imperfect tense. Heading over here, what have we got? Yeah, this is like the imperative ends there. At another level, the subjunctive is sitting there as well, in some other areas there. So this is kind of a good back to basics. I'll go to that part which they call grammar and just play a bit. Let's see what that's like.
Episode 7. They sure don't make them like they used to. The imperfect tense.
It was long.
This song reminds me of a very special moment, Rylan. Yo estaba en Cusco, Perú. Era una hermosa mañana en junio. El sol brillaba en las montañas.
Okay, notice how the imperfect verbs here are highlighted. So quite cool. Kind of reminds me of the way that Ollie Richards' 30-day challenges go. There's a particular grammar point,
Right.
and then
Right.
here's this little article that's pointing out. They're speaking a little bit in English there as well, but again, good sort of back to basics. Never a problem doing that. It looks like almost everything here. They've used the imperfect obviously to highlight it. And there they all are. So that gives you a bit of a feel of what's going on in this grammar area. I'll quickly do a look at another area, but I won't go all the way through it. Stem changing verbs. Okay, so what are they giving us? Tiene, entender, encender, oír, convier. Okay, so some of the common stem changing verbs. Very clear, very good, very good. Etc. Now, if I go back a tad on this. For courses. just check again. Here we go. I'll go back in from here. Okay, so that's their get up to speed. That's their kind of the basics. Then there's more specific grammar here, as you can see. Pronouns, prepositions, por and para, special verbs, da-da-da, and the subjunctive. Now, okay, subjunctive. In the subjunctive, there are 5 parts to that. So quite a bit of depth there. So like, if you like teaching yourself, you know, I think this is probably a pretty jolly good resource to be able to just go off and try things out. Go back to courses again, just to see what else was in there. Grammar. Oh, and then there's the expressions that I was talking about. So let's find expressions to do with change. And here they all are up at the top here to show off. De cara a la halería. De cara de la halería. Add fuel to the fire. Catch 22. This always explains to me why Spanish has to be spoken so quickly. We just say catch 22, but in Spanish they say el pez, where there's a will, there's a way. So learning idioms. Oh, this is a good one. What's done is done. A little hecho, pecho. Fantastic. So there's that. And there's just a heap of those idioms if you're keen on learning those. And with each one, let's go back to hecho and pecho. Oh, there's a one to get straight to the point, to cut to the chase. Ir al grano. I kind of happen to know that one, and they occasionally use it. Oh, Juan Fernandez uses it. Espanol con Juan, he often says, voy al grano. I'll get to the point, all right. Here's I'm just looking at the script here without sort of listening to it. We'll see, voy al grano. They're using the expression there. A little bit more stuff about something, and there again they're using it. Vayamos, using substantivo there to use it, and here it is used again with different verb forms. That's pretty cool. So a gigantic resource of idiomatic expressions. And they do have a catalog for it. See here, search catalog. The only problem is it doesn't allow you to choose the English one that you want. They're all in Spanish. So one day someone has to go through and look it up. But if you wanted to go through and say, oh, what does that mean? A la buena de Dios. Oh, haphazardly. Oh, who knew? All right. Throw in the towel. Tira la toalla. All right, so that's that. That's all the resources in terms of idiomatic expressions. A heap. Any questions before I move on to series? Cool. Let's move on then. Now, in series, what we've got here is the journalists just providing kind of magazine type articles, as opposed to up-to-date news. And what we've got here is Spanish legends at a beginner level. Historia una misteria. Propiedad incierta. What does that mean? Property? I don't know. But here it is. Meditation for beginners at an intermediate level with these various 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 episodes. Quick listen.
Episodio 5. Conciencia espontánea.
Nice.
Bienvenidos de nuevo a Meditación para principiantes.
If you find it hard to go to sleep at night and want to listen to Spanish, I'm sure that would do the job. It's either that or Eckhart Tolle reading The Present Moment in Spanish, which he speaks fluently because when he was a teenager, his father moved to Spain. So what else? We've got Festivals of Spain, Children and Toys. This one by Guillermo, The History of Rock in Spain, the Civil War, El Camino de Santiago. I started listening to this one. Guillermo tells his story of doing El Camino, kindness in the time of coronavirus. So those are all there. Yeah, a heap of resource to listen to. And this one with the Camino, I happen to know, it says intermediate and advanced. So you can either choose the intermediate version of it or click over to the advanced version of it, which would be a bit faster and harder vocabulary, etc. So that is the big picture of what is provided. Let me just quickly check out the Latino version here. For those of you, obviously, many who want to do it that way. I don't think you necessarily get the same stories, but let's have a look here and have a quick listen. Okay. Music, just jumped forward then using that.
Es martes 29 de marzo de 2022. Están escuchando News in Slow Spanish Latino.
And I know Larry would say, yep, that's the one for me. The moment you hear marzo, well, when I hear marzo in lugar de marzo, you know, it's Latino.
Hola a todos.
Comenzaremos la primera parte del programa hablando de la visita del presidente Andrés Manuel López Obrador a un nuevo aeropuerto al norte de la Ciudad de México.
Okay, so items focusing on Latino regions and the such like, but you have both. You get both, so you can do whatever you like in terms of what you study. And I think that, you know, more or less covers what this thing offers. Whoop, what have I done? Did I mean to do that? I've brought myself back to here. I'll just share it again. I wanted to go to the menu. There we go. I can go back to Latino. Now, so the question about how do you join up, you would go to the main website and subscribe there. Because I've logged in. What's going to happen? Actually, I'll finish screen sharing. I think we're done. Dottie, what will happen is I'm coordinating with Raina, who's one of the administrators of Spanish with Paul. We've got, golly, I think we had 16 people show interest, and they've got a handful over there. We've actually got more people interested than they have, but she started it, so all credit to her. I'm sure it's going to go ahead. They'll give us a code, which will be a discount code that when you join News in Slow Spanish, you'll pop it into the the discount box that is there, and bang, and it worked perfectly for me last time. And down from $22 to $8 a month. I mean, I was thinking some of you would be familiar with Ollie Richards' 30-day speaking challenge, and are we paying nearly €100 for that monthly if you haven't got that discount? When I saw the idioms, and I know there's one of Ollie's things is idioms, it kind of uses a very similar approach. The materials in context, and they speak clearly. And if you want to, what I often do is once I get more familiar, I'll speed it up and I'll listen to it back a couple of times, at a faster speed. Oh, am I getting it? If I'm not, I'll slow it down. Or I'll listen to sections. That is my preferred method, actually. Rather than listen to the whole thing really slowly, I'll just listen to that phrase over and over again so that it sinks in. A musician's trick, eh, Lisa? You know, you just do the bit that's hard over and over again. You don't do the whole piece. And anyway, that's news and slow Spanish. So as you can tell, I really like it. It was my mainstay when I started learning Spanish and wanted to get away from courses. And I remember one time when I was doing an intercambio with someone here in New Zealand, the first time live, and I said, "Oh, sí, madre, es por eso que," and I had never said that phrase in my life. I'd never said "es por eso que." It's because in those dialogues, I heard that phrase over and over again. That's why I think that da, 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 you know, whatever it was. And it's just like popped out. Yeah.
I think this is a lot more sophisticated and involved in depth than Ollie's. I mean, you've got lots of choices.
Absolutely.
I mean, I mean, Ollie's, I've done every challenge I think he's given, and sometimes twice.
Yes.
You know, and they're great, but this looks really interesting, and just maybe take it another step higher.
Yeah. And what I sometimes do, Dottie, with it, it's like, okay, I don't have the lessons that Ollie does. Doesn't matter. I just go with my teacher. I mean, I have a teacher. So at times, if I'm reading an article and I'll look at the way it's put and I'll go, is that normal? Because sometimes it feels a bit strange, the way that they've put a phrase. And it's so useful to have a native speaker, right, to help you to go, yeah, no, that's normal. That's how we say it, right? Right. And so with my teacher on italki, I use Zoom. But if you do an intercambio with someone or whatever, and you use Zoom, then you can, you know, share your screen. You can show them what, you know, is coming up. Right. You can practice pronunciation if you decide to read it. You know, it's a gigantic resource, and you know, the $8 a month lifetime, right? I think once you're in, that's it. And there's resource that goes back way more than any of us will ever use. So
you will let us know when we have the coupon number or whatever.
I'll give out the access code. Yeah, I'll give out the discount code.
And then we just log in.
And then you just log in and apply to join, and you're away. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. That's exciting.
Yeah. 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 No, it's a great opportunity. And I'm very happy that we've been able to piggyback with Spanish with Paul people there. That's really kind of them to share that. And the only provision was, obviously, we keep the discount code confidential. It's just for those of us who have.
Oh, we could sell it.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Solamente broma.
I understand. We joke a lot around here, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'll stop recording this now.